appreciate everybody showing up. This means a lot to me. I think this is exactly the kind of discussions we need to be having here in London. I mean, we're surrounded by these issues. There's no avoiding it. And I think the panel we have, while painfully white men, which we accept that criticism and look to avoid that in the future. We did have our 2 female guests back out almost last minute, and so one of the guests who wasn't able to make it was Michelle McSweeney. She's was recently elected the president of the Ontario Network of Injured Workers Groups, and she wasn't able to make it, so I asked Kevin Jones, who's someone I work with locally on injured workers issues quite a bit, if he could maybe say a few words about the situation of injured workers and his work. So maybe we could just start off with Kevin saying a few words about that.
Yeah, so I've been injured 15 years ago at work, and for the first 13 years, you know, it was hard enough to accept being disabled, let alone speak out. Once Occupy London came around, kind of really inspired me, really, like the direct action, the whole, you know, talking to people and getting your message out really kind of inspired me to get my own version of it, Occupy WSIB, and it's kind of like a mentality, you know, like occupy it online or out in public or wherever you are, you know, like I had shirts made up so I can say, hey, you know, it's a discussion, gets people talking, and then you can get more involved in different, you know, labor movement issues like Canada Post. Injured workers don't want to have to walk to get our mail. I know that for a fact myself. I don't want to walk a block or whatever. So, you know, I really was supportive of their cause. Even the teachers last year. There's all different reasons why people need to get together and do a lot more like direct actions, you know, like solidarity motions, and I'm really just trying to encourage unions, just everyday people to, you know, get involved in different causes, because you
could talk a little bit about what people on dealing with WSIB deal with.
Nowadays, it's about a 70% denial rate on new claims. So if you get hurt at work, odds are you're going to have to fight an appeal for 4 years just to get approved. Most injured workers are stressed and financially and in pain, so you know, a lot of them give up and just they can't fight the system. All these employers, like not all employers, but a large group of employers are getting massive rebates back, like $45 million last year alone. And that's what funds the system, right? So injured workers end up paying the price. WSIB was Workers' Compensation Board right up till like '97, when Mike Harris changed the legislation, automatically gave employers a 30% rebate. Well, again, they pay for the benefits. So injured workers have been nothing but suffering ever since. It's getting worse, and we don't have a lot of allies, right? So trying to deal with WSIB, we're intimidated. We're being told that, you know, somebody's following us around. They pay surveillance companies to try to catch workers doing stuff. And they won't come out to the office. I was going to WSIB directly for 20 weeks in a row. And we got good crowds, sometimes 8, 10, you know, nothing massive, but we were there every week saying our message. And we reached 1,000 people, like, in all my events that we did. So we're talking and we're getting the message out, you know, and social media is great for that, because injured workers are too scared to speak out. Well, they can do it online. Sometimes we're being watched online too, so that intimidates people. And WSIB is under legislation to like fund injured worker groups. Yeah, as long as they don't speak out. And that's the problem. We can't. How do you get them to come to my protests when they can't, because it's at WSIB and that's who funds them? So they get threatened. So we're trying to build like a movement of awareness, and then that should be enough right there to make people want to fight. If you see the injustice, you know, like, I feel sorry for anybody in the future that gets hurt, because there's things like Harper's working on Bill C4. Well, that's going to make it unsafe for about like 1 million workers. And I haven't seen it. I did a little protest on December 27th, and there was me, Anthony, and Ryan. And we stood there in the freezing cold for 45 minutes. Got some honks, you know, but there was really nobody out. It was right between Christmas and New Year's. But I felt I had to do it because I thought it was being passed right away. It still hasn't gone through. And the general response I got from Susan Troupe was, oh, we're worried, or we're concerned about injured workers or workers in general. And I'm like, yeah, right. You know, you've cut all these safety measures and you're going to make it harder to refuse unsafe work. So as an injured worker, I see our case getting harder because there's going to be more people getting hurt, more companies getting away with it and not going to jail when a worker dies. So there's a lot of reasons why people kind of need to realize it's not just an injured worker thing, right? It's a family thing. It's an economy thing, right? Like, most of us are in poverty. 15 years. I was a factory guy. I made good money in 1999, and I'm only 42. So, and not having a family makes me drive more to do it because I see my nephew getting hurt someday, or and it scares me. I've had friends who weren't hurt, and now in the last year or two have been hurt, and they've had to deal with it. And some of them have had to fight right from the beginning, like they're denied, even though your doctor says that you're hurt, right? So, but just solidarity. I really believe that people need to stand up for the ones who can't. Like, I'm here now, and it's hurting me to be here, but I had to be here because I know a lot of these people from Facebook, and some of them in person from rallies. But it's amazing how just this event, I'll post pictures if people don't mind, and then people tag, somebody else that they know that was here. And it's networking, and it gets out there, and, it needs to be done, I guess. But I'm looking for direct action for sure. And warm weather. That's about it, yeah. I think I wasn't really prepared, but I wanted to say something.
You did ask him last minute.
Yeah.
Great job. Yeah.
I do have lots of newspapers available. They're for free at the end there, Justice for Injured Workers, full of information. Unfortunately, again, because of funding, they only come out with about 3 to 4 issues a year. And we'd like to get that better by, getting interest by getting unions involved. I know through my activism I got a lot of respect from some people from Windsor, different union members, even the teachers, Ontario secondary teachers, Enver, and they hand me usually 200 to 300 a stack of newspapers and say, you know what, these are paid for, just give them out. It's good to get the information out, so that's kind of nice to be able to do that, and gives an official something to read rather than the flyer. So, cool. And that's it.
Good, thanks a lot.
Okay.
I guess another pressing issue